All right, welcome everybody. It's so great to have you here. Happy Hump Day in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day. We're so grateful for your valuable time. You have made a great choice from an educational perspective, and that's why we're here. We'll illuminate the product that we have as the most incredible thing and the only product of its kind, platform of its kind on the planet. But we're not here to sell you anything. If you choose to take advantage of what you see, welcome to the family in advance. And if you don't, then please, we're at a point in history that will never repeat itself. We're at the precipice of the largest wealth transfer on the planet in the history of history. And if you don't get it, here's a startling statistic. Only 8% of the people in the world know anything about crypto, know anything about decentralized finance, know anything about all the things that are happening under your nose. And only 2% of the people on the planet have ever interacted with decentralized finance, meaning, bought or sold or traded or done whatever, made a payment with crypto. So that's a huge audience. And we want to get to as many people as we possibly can to share the good news because we actually, I want to say stumbled upon, but my co-host and friend, Mr. Heveshi, excuse me, met the creator of this platform in which we speak, which you'll get a chance to see today. And it literally changes the landscape of how you make money, right? Because having worked 32 years inside the matrix as an agent, I can tell you that all they want you to do is grow up, go to school, get a job, trade time for money. I'm over trading time for money. I'm all about serving you, as is my business partner. So here we go. I'm going to bring up a screen that shows some expectations of what you can expect today. I had it all set, but bear with me just one moment.
By the way, while Edward is pulling that up, everybody should know that Edward and I act as the um, educational and support arm for Crypto Casey as it pertains to the Go Baby Trade Trader. Okay, so thank you to Crypto Casey for making this available to all of you, and as a result, you're all here. But we're the support and the educational mechanism, just so everybody's clear on that, because sometimes people wonder where we come in. Okay.
Yeah, and Crypto Casey's not an absentee. As a matter of fact, she was on a couple of weeks ago. You can find it. I'll put it in the chat on financialintelligenceforyou.com or not.com, but on Facebook. Not Facebook, I'm sorry. YouTube, and you'll be able to find the one that says when Casey was live. I think it was the 20th of August, where she actually talks about how she came to know of the trader and a funny backstory. When we sat down and talked with her, she did her own research. She went not around us, but didn't let us know that she was doing it. And she went and paid retail for the product because she wanted to keep it an arm length transaction and do her own discovery before she or if she was ever going to share it with her audience, of which the good news is she did. So we're happy that you're here. We love Casey. We work with her on a weekly basis, and she was our handpicked influencer in the decentralized space because of the way that she treats her audience and the fact that she purely wants to educate people. And a lot of the fans that are here of hers and now ours are here for that reason. A lot of people, and you'll see in the chat if people want to share the fact that they came to know cryptocurrency and got involved in it because of Crypto Casey. So we're privileged to be able to serve you and serve Casey's audience and serve Casey. So let me ask, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll get down to business. So what can you expect today? Expect a transformation. Transformation, as I did sort of in the pre setup, is that you're going to see something today that changes the landscape of how you make money for your family. I mean, money's not everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. And there's never been any opportunity on the planet, let alone a system that exists that will literally put you in a position where you can fund an account. It doesn't matter if you know how to spell crypto or not. You don't need to know anything about trading. You don't need to know anything about anything other than if you have a Coinbase or Kraken account and take advantage of this license, connecting the two, funding your account, and you never have to do anything. It sounds too good to be true. And my mama always told me that it's too good to be true is probably a scam, but run the other way. But I can tell you, stop and listen and watch the chat, because those that have participated and become part of the Go Baby Trade financial intelligence crypto KC family can tell you that they weren't believers either until they believed it. And that's when they bought it. The only people that have anything negative to say about this platform are people that don't own it. So with that, you're going to see about a 45-minute overview and a deep dive into what Go Baby Trade's core features are and why would you care, right? How the system operates and automates crypto trading 24/7, 365, and doesn't take a day off. You don't have to feed them. You don't have to have them in your basement. You don't have to have an extra room for them. And you don't have to have any knowledge about trading. You'll get a chance to see. We'll talk about what I've coined the $1 billion report that identifies optimal trading opportunities within the trader. The information doesn't exist anywhere else, and it is a value add that Ed Barsano and his team continues to add to this platform. By the way, every update that comes out weekly adds to the value to you and your ability to print money in your sleep at no extra charge. You're buying a license for 3 years, and that's it. You get all the benefits therefore. You get a chance to see a demonstration of a live trader. I'll take you through a simulation that I've done. And when I say simulation, when you purchase the license and connect it to your Coinbase or Kraken account, it automatically goes into simulation. But the machine, the platform, does not know the difference between simulated trading and live trading. So what the results that you're going to see, and they're pretty astounding. We'll point out why. But if you're not used to hearing things that are that are things that are pretty incredible that you don't hear every day, you're in for a treat and in for a ride. So put your 6-point NASCAR harness on, because we're going to take you for a ride. And what you'll understand by the end of this, everything there is to know about it, how it operates. We have an ecosystem, which unsolicited, but I'll ask anybody that's on the call today to share their experience. We excel at customer support. We excel at this is a community. A community that has gotten over it's too good to be true, and they know it's true and are looking to share with other members of the family. So with that, I'm going to flash a screen with a bunch of red loud writing on it, and I'm only going to briefly, I'm not going to read through it, but we have been counseled to talk about the disclaimer. Everything that you see today is educational and informational purposes only. We're not financial advisors. We're not advisors of anything. I mean, we're advisors in good news about what this platform has done for us and what it has the opportunity to do for you. But we're not giving you tax advice, investment advice, legal advice, none of that stuff. We're not
We
lawyers.
definitely advise you to stay on till the end of this Zoom.
We do. Well, that's
That,
that
that's,
that that advice doesn't
that's
require any licensing.
highly advisable, highly advisable.
Yeah, what you're going to see is actual factual historical information of since this trader went live in April of 2021, but we're not representing any guarantees of any kind. The world could end tomorrow. Let's hope it doesn't, because we're on the verge of seeing the entire decentralized market go parabolic. And owning this trader makes it to where you don't have to stare at it. You can go to the beach, do your job, and go to your job until you don't want to have a job anymore, and puts you in a position where you literally are on autopilot. Everything you see is as is, but we'll explain it. When I'm not trying to explain away, the nature of what you're going to see. I'm just saying, everybody's semi-adult, right? Take it for what it is. Pay attention, ask questions, do your own research, and get ready. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to
Mm.
Mr. Attila and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Edward. Great intro and welcome everybody. It's Hump Day, 2 o'clock Eastern every Wednesday. We're here on behalf of Crypto Casey, educating people on the merits of what this trader is able to do for somebody. And I put it real simply, this allows people to make money in their sleep. And we're going to show you how. Now, a little history about myself and about how I met Mr. Barsano, and that's what led all of us to be here today. So I've always been in the world of finance, one way or another. I was a financial planner in my earlier days. I realized that was not something I wanted to do long term. I wasn't enjoying it, so I moved on. But it was always in the financial realm of some sort. And then in late 2017, 2018, I got a little taste of Bitcoin mining. That got me hooked on the whole concept of crypto. And I was so intrigued. But that life got in the way. And then literally September of 2020, so literally 5 years ago, I was in the right place at the right time. I had the time to put into researching and learning all about this. And here's what spurred me on. I totally missed the internet revolution. And as you all know, there was tens of thousands of people that became multimillionaires back then in a space that I just didn't find that space to be nearly as intriguing and interesting as this space, because this is about money. And that always intrigued me. So I promised myself, look, I missed the internet revolution. There's no way on earth I'm going to miss this revolution. I call it the digital money revolution. And so I put my nose to the grindstone. First year, I just listened to a ton of, podcasters, YouTubers, and I learned, and I'm self-taught. I built a crypto portfolio for myself, and I'm a cash flow guy. I like producing cash flow. So now that's a little bit about me. And I love this, on a daily basis, like Edward said, we're so fortunate to be where we are. I can't even keep up with 1/1000th of what transpires in this space every day. It's insane. But literally, this is a new frontier. We're so early, it's not even funny. But things are starting to move and the rails are being built and we are able to participate. How great is it to be alive today? I mean, it's amazing. So we're all blessed. But anyway, let me tell you a little background on Mr. Barsano. After the Navy, he was one of the very first people, like the first 300, let's say, programmers hired by Bill Gates at Microsoft. And he doesn't like it when I say this, but he was a rock star with them for about 9 years, retired a young guy. He was only 39 when he retired. He was bored to death and he was playing with the stock market, buying all the hot tech stocks in the late 90s. And then with the stock market crash of 2000, he got his rear end handed to him. I mean, he lost a large part of his wealth. And, he wasn't that upset about the money loss. He was more upset about the fact that he discovered that this is such a scam. He realized the average person does not have a chance to make money in trading, especially if they're trying to do it themselves. They're gambling. So what did he do? He wanted to just get even. And he developed in 2000, 2001, literally the world's first fully robotic autonomous stock market trader. And so this is kind of how it worked. You have to download some software now. It was a little bit more cumbersome a lot more cumbersome than it is today. It took about 60 to 90 minutes to download that software. I know because I bought it in 2012. And that was cumbersome. Today, whole different story. But anyway, once you downloaded the software, on Monday morning at 9:30, the software turned itself on automatically. And when the stock market opened, it started trading for you autonomously, making you money where it can, buying more stocks at a lower price where it could. And then at 4 p.m., when the market closed, it shut itself off. It did this 100% unattended. What does that mean? That means it required no screen time. You didn't have to be sitting there in front of a screen, which is wonderful. And I mean, this technology is amazing today. Back then in 2000, 2001, imagine how crazy it was. So fast forward to 2012, a buddy of mine asked me a question back then. He gave me a call and he said, Attila, how would you like to trade the stock market, but you don't have to do anything? It's automated, it's automatic, 100%, no screen time. And I said, what? Because I always wanted to make money in the stock market, but I wasn't the type of person that was going to learn how to trade. So I said, tell me more. And he told me about what Ed created. Then he introduced me to Ed. We had a chat. I bought the trader on the spot and I used it very, very successfully. And back then, Ed actually had an opportunity, this was in 2012. He had an opportunity to team up with a marketing company that had approached him about selling these by the hundreds. And he was reluctant to do so, but he moved forward with that. And they did sell like $16 million worth of licenses in just 2 years, which was amazing. But you know how partnerships are, they're tough. And he was getting the raw end of the deal on a couple things. So he said, you know what? I'm going to protect my brand, which he has every right to do. He's the creator. I'm going back to being solo. And he did that. And in 2019, he sold out to a hedge fund. Now, this is where the story takes a turn. In March of 2024, I was sitting at my desk and I had a little bit of a rough day at the office. And I said, man, I'm satisfied with my crypto portfolio, but I'm a cash flow guy. And unfortunately, I had lost some money in 5 different blockchain cash flow projects. And I'm like, how can I safely have my crypto earn more crypto without incurring those losses? And it took me about a full day, but after one day, I thought of my friend Ed Barcelona. I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forget about Ed. I forgot about him. I still had his phone number in my phone, so I tracked him down. We spoke for 3 hours. And I had a hunch that somewhere along the line in the last 3 or 4 years, he developed, now this is 18 months ago, I had a hunch that he developed a robotic autonomous trader for the crypto market. And he confirmed that hunch when we spoke. He said, Attila, I developed it in 2020. I launched it in April of 2021. And he says, as soon as I turned this thing on, he said, I told myself, I'm done with stocks. This thing was light years ahead of the stock trader. And I said, how so? And he said, well, he actually gave me 4 very compelling reasons. So please listen carefully because this is where it gets interesting. He said, number one, stocks trade 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Crypto's 24/7. That's a big advantage. And I agreed. Number two, he said, you need volatility, whether you're trading stocks, whether you're trading precious metals, Forex, crypto, you need a ton of volatility. And he says, there's no asset class with more volatility than crypto. And I agreed again. But number 3 and number 4 rocked my world because it was a world of difference from what I had experienced before. He said, number 3, he said, Attila, the software, it's not downloadable anymore. It's web-based. And I didn't know what that meant. I'm not a techie. He said, well, I said, what does that mean, Ed? He said, well, I could have you trading live connected to your Coinbase or your or your Kraken account through an API connection in 10 minutes or less. I said, you're on, giddy up, let's go. I bought the license on the spot. And in about 8, 9 minutes, I was trading live with my Coinbase account for just under 10 grand. Now that blew me away because I remember 2012. It was nothing like that. But number 4 was what I thought was the most important thing for all of you, including me, but all of you, which is the security and the safety of your money. And he said, Attila, I created an API connection whereby it connects to Coinbase or Kraken. So you and only you control your funds. I can't touch your money if I wanted to. And I said, Ed, that's brilliant because in the last 5 years, back then it was in the last 3.5 years, I've lost a ton of money in 5 different blockchain crypto cash flow projects, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. And nobody wants to lose any money, but this number was pretty high. Now, obviously, I made more money than I lost, but still, that loss hurt. So I was so glad to hear that. Now, before we go and I hand it back over to Edward to show you a few really important things, I want everybody to keep 2 things, if you would, at the forefront of your mind. We're gonna say over and over today, set it, this is set it and forget it, or 100% unattended. When we say that, please take it literally, because you literally could buy this software, buy the license, be set up in 10 minutes or less and be trading live. And you literally would not even need to look at this ever again, and it's working for you, making you money. Maybe not every day, maybe not every second day. It's all market dependent. That's another thing you need to remember as we go through this. Some people, sometimes they ask, what kind of ROI can I expect? We can't answer that question. It's market dependent. I went through one whole week about 3 months ago where it took no profits because the market was so flat. There was no wiggling up and down at all. Okay. Now, in most cases, every day, every other day, every third day, it's going to take profits. But over time, this is a lifetime trader, by the way. Over time, it's going to kick some butt for you. Okay. So the second thing I really love everybody to keep at the forefront of your mind is understand the big picture of what this man, Ed Barsano, created for the world. After he lost all that money and he said, you know what, I'm going to teach them, whoever them is, a lesson not to screw over the general public like that anymore. He developed a platform whereby anybody, without being an accredited investor, without knowing anything about crypto, without knowing anything about trading, you hardly have to know anything about your computer. You could literally now make money in your sleep with this platform. It's mind-boggling, folks. It's never been done before. No one has ever done what he's done. And remember, he's got a 25-year track record. Now, some people might say, yeah, but the first 20, 21 years was in the stock market. Yes, however, and Edward's going to touch on this later, a lot of the data that he learned and he took from those trading days with stocks was parlayed into the crypto trader. He was able to optimize the crypto trader with the data from 20 years of the stock trader, which is remarkable. So, Edward, do me a favor, pull up the gobabytrade.com, the main website. I want to explain something. Normally, we have as a guest here Mr. Barsano. He's only missed 2 events because of family emergencies. Now, yesterday, Ed Barsano was scheduled for a minor medical procedure, and it was canceled and postponed till today. So unfortunately, Ed's not going to be here live with us. However, about 15 months ago, roughly, give or take 2 months, I did a really, really good interview with him. And what I did was I asked him 3 or 4 of the most common questions that people ask us all the time. And it's only 14 minutes, but we can't play it here because we have an issue with the audio, but we want to show you on the website where it is. And if you're joining us for the first time, we urge you to go and listen to that because it's tremendous, very informative, and you get to see Ed's style. He's quite a character. And we're also going to point out, when Ed shares the screen in a moment here, we're also going to point out, actually, Ed, you could share the screen while I'm talking here.
Ed's not here.
What?
Ed's not here.
Edward, sorry. Yeah.
So before I do that, I'm going to put into, I mentioned earlier when I was speaking that Crypto Casey joined us a couple of weeks ago. So for your benefit, we'll show you we'll show you what Attila was referring to, and then we'll show you a trader. But this is the video where Ed and Crypto Casey were live. I highly encourage you to take the time, and you can put us on 2x or 3x so we all sound like chipmunks. But so you hear directly from Casey what her experience is that will solidify all the things that you get a chance to experience today. So with that, let me share the screen that you were referring to, Attila.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you see this screen, folks, please take into consideration the nice that now this is Ed Barsano's main site. This is not the link that you would click on. Edward's going to put that in the chat. The normal retail price of this trader for a 3-year license is $44.99, $4,499. That's for 3 years. Now, Crypto Casey and Ed Barsano negotiated a special deal for her audience, which is $1,000 off. So it's $34.99. And that's a nice savings. So that's about $97 a month if you wanted to automate a part of your financial life. Can you put the screen share back up? It
I
disappeared.
I did. There you
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm getting at is though, when you click on Casey's link,
go.
you're going to be able to click on a lot of very good resources before you ever decide to pull the trigger on the license. For example, there's a button there that says videos. We're not going to click on videos yet. We will in a moment. But there's also something called top traders. We will cover that. There's something called trade counts. We'll cover that. Okay, so there's a lot of good resources. So why don't we show everybody where that 14-minute video is, Edward?
Yep. And I just while you were speaking, I posted Crypto
Yeah.
Casey's exclusive discount link. And when
Yep.
you click on that, you'll end up on this same screen. But that link, it hasn't embedded the discount code. So don't
Right.
go to Go Baby Trade directly unless you want to pay $1,000 more. Go to the what I just posted, and I'll post it several times throughout the presentation. So we'll go under videos. Yep, and apologies, we were going to play this for you, but you could see his lips moving, but you can't hear him talking. So this is the 14-minute
Yep.
video that Attila was referencing. Very, very good. You have access to this when you go on Crypto Casey's link. You have access to this entire page. Great, great, great place to do your research. As I said at the beginning, we're not here to force you to buy anything or do anything. We're just highly encouraging you to educate yourself about what is coming. And if you don't believe that the crypto market or the decentralized market is going to stay, well, it's already here. If you've been watching
And
the news, then you see it's coming. Don't miss it.
yeah, just to add to that, we've had a few people challenge us on that a little bit where they seem to intimate to us that we sound like we're selling. Well, let me make something perfectly clear. When you have something as powerful as we have here with this robotic autonomous trader with AI, Go Baby Trade, we don't need to sell it. All we need to do is educate people on it and help them, show them the resources where they could DYOR, where they could do your own research, DYOR, and you'll come to the same conclusion everybody else that's ended up buying the license did, that this is one of the biggest no-brainers in the world of finance that there is. And you'll find out a lot more here in the following few minutes on why. But I just want to make that clear. So, Edward, anything else you wanted to cover on that?
No, we'll come back to this because I want to show you the top
Okay.
traders because people ask.
Yep.
Actually, I'm just going to flash it up and we'll talk about it later. So people ask, well, how much money can I make? How much, what kind of return? Do I need a whole lot of money to get started? Obviously, you need $3,400 or $3,500 to buy the license, but it's the most sound investment that you will make in yourself and your family legacy. Look at this, and I'll just point it, and then we'll go over this in detail later. But these are the top 50, excuse me, that have been collected. This is their performance over the last year. This is a 1-year report, right? So this person started with $3,178. I don't understand. I can't explain to you why these are oddball numbers versus $3,000, $5,000, $10, 10,000. But their trading balance may be that they've also put more money in. But what kind of returns can you make? 477% return. Now, everybody's going to cringe or should have cringed when I said that. You've been programmed in this financial system, which, by the way, has been a scam for the last 150 years, right? You've been taught all that you've been taught about finance is is not real. It's to benefit those that made up the rules, but it's not to your favor. As Attila said, that Mr. Barsano leveled the playing field for the average person to be able to take advantage of this. So it literally is. If it sounds unbelievable, do your research. It's not unbelievable to achieve. I mean, these are real reports. That this is, even if you scroll down, this person started with $926, took another $1,254 in returns. That's 135%. That's 1,254 on top of the 926, not the difference between the two. So we're going to show you this, and you're going to have in the link that I just posted, you can go look at the same stuff too. So in the meantime, Attila, did you want me to show you? Did you want me to show the trader?
I did want you to show that, and I'm really glad you showed this, what you just showed now, because people usually ask us, what amount should I start with? And you could see it's all over the map. That's personal preference. Now, if you start with 1,500 or 5,000 or 50,000, you could always add to your Coinbase or Kraken account. And here's the beautiful thing. Let's say you start with $5,000 in your Coinbase under USDC, which is a stable coin. If a month later you throw in another 5,000, the trader automatically picks up you've thrown in another 5,000 into the allowable tradable amount. You don't
And
even
puts
have to tell the trader anything. It's automatic.
Yep.
So that's a beautiful thing. Okay, go. Yeah, pull up.
Yeah,
You
one more example before I bring up the trader. So just think of it this way to give you a reasonable mindset. And I'll show you an example later about starting with $5,000 and what that could do. Not mandatory that you start with 5,000. You can start with 1,000, and it is way better if you have the choice of putting $100 a month into a savings account that paying you 0.001%, giving the money to the bank for free so that they can lend it back to you on a credit card for 35%, or your other choice is to put it in something that makes a very stable return. We consider it a life trader. It is not a get rich quick scheme. It is a tool that allows you to continue to grow your money faster than inflation and debasement, which is every time they print money, the value of your dollar decreases. This is the only system I've seen that gives you the opportunity to grow your money faster than inflation and debasement takes it.
one other thing as you're pulling that up, I want to share with people. I just thought of it. When I started in September of 2020 in this digital money revolution, I was a buy and holder. I was a hodler. Okay, so I rode that roller coaster of, okay, it goes up and it goes down. So I wasn't taking advantage of the volatility. I was watching the volatility and experiencing it and saying, oh, this is great. Oh, this sucks. This is great. Oh, this sucks. Well, here, people have the ability to finally, without any screen time, without being involved at all with the trader, they have an opportunity to have something that takes advantage of that volatility and earns them cash flow while they are waiting while they're hodling. So if you're a hodler like me, you could enjoy the volatility now with the trader taking the profits off the table for you based on the up and down action.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
And as I said when I saw this and Ed first started showing us, one, it was not believable to me, right? I was in your shoes if this is the first time you're seeing it. But I can tell you it absolutely positively does everything that Mr. Barsano created it to do, and 100% no brainer. You don't have to touch anything. You just set it up and it goes. Now, I started to give the example. Level set your expectations. I'll show you the example later of the starting with $5,000. But if you look at it and you look at, let's compare the cost of the license, right? So it's $3,499 for a 3-year license. By the way, if you take advantage of it, and everybody that has already taken advantage of it, Mr. Barsano is talking about raising the price, but as a locked-in renewal customer, you're locked in at the end of those 3 years should you choose to to continue to participate. Your renewal price, regardless of what it is, retail, you're going to be able to lock in at that same price. But let's take it down to real simple terms. If you build enough of a balance, which it doesn't take that much, and I'll explain to you what you're seeing here. But if your trader just produced $20 a day on average for you, do the math. $20 times 365 returns you $7,300 a year. Now that's just flat out $20 a day. That's not compounding, which you can do in this system. Times the 3-year license is $21,900. Now, I don't know about you, but if somebody said, "Hey, give me $3,400," yes, once you get over the trepidation and the perceived risk, and we'll show you why there is no risk at all. But let's say you gave me $2,500 or $3,500, and I said, "Hey, there's a really good opportunity at only $20 a day for you to, in 3 years, that capital investment of $3,500 has created $21,900. How many times would you do that? The answer is every time. So easy. We're not talking about putting, even though this example, I started it back in March of this year, March 25th. So we're just a little bit over 5 months. I started with $100,000. Again, this is a simulation. Again, the platform doesn't know whether it's simulation or real money. This is an expected or an actual factual return of what it's done over that period of time. Let's say you only started with 10,000. Let's say you only started with 1,000. Then you can do the math, and that's why I did it at a big round number of $100,000. So the value in that during that period of time is 118,000. Now that takes into consideration that it has some inventory, and we'll refer to it as inventory. Each lot that it buys, because when you put in whatever the money is, from a money management perspective, it carves up how much it's going to invest in each lot. All by itself, you don't have to know the accelerated rotation of the Earth equation to figure that out. It does it for you. But every time it buys a lot, for example, if I click on this one, it'll show every detail about that particular lot. Now, the system is pre-programmed. I think I may have mentioned it before, but let me say it again because it's worth saying, is that the system is programmed to never sell at a loss. It doesn't short. All it does is it looks for movement in relatively small movement in the market. It's set to buy an additional lot or additional lots every time the market goes down 3%. When it goes down 3%, it triggers an AI in the system. And the AI has, as Attila talked about, 25 years of experience because it takes all of the trading data. It doesn't matter whether it's stocks or crypto. AI looks for patterns. It's a pattern recognition application, right? So it doesn't care that it's a stock or a crypto token or a coin, but it has better than 98% accuracy of deciding or statistically analyzing what the price is going to do on the upside or the downside in the next 20 minutes. It can't tell you what the price is tomorrow. If it could, then we could sell you this for 3.5 million because you would employ it and be the richest person on earth. It will tell you in the short term based on pattern recognition, but it has 25 years worth of clean data. Meaning, when I say clean data, all of the data has been aggregated from all of the traders, both stock and crypto traders that are out in the marketplace. It's a closed system. It doesn't have to go outside to the internet. It's never been hacked. It connects directly, privately, and securely with a key to your trading accounts, Kraken or Coinbase. So it mitigates all of that risk. I'm taking you all over the place and let me bring you back to earth. There is talked about the $1 billion report. We'll show that in a minute. What that allows you to do is it's done all the analysis and it does it on a monthly basis. It's a proprietary report that is only valuable if you own the system, because what it does is it identifies the most volatile cryptos that are listed on either the Coinbase or Kraken exchange. Why would you care? Because it eats volatility. It doesn't matter if the market's going up or down. As it goes down the 3%, it'll call the AI and say, "Hey, somebody's programmed me to buy another lot. What do you think, AI? AI will analyze it and come back on a millisecond basis and say, nope, it's a 95% probability that it's going to continue on a downtrend. Just hold off. Now, the trading platform and the AI become partners until there is a match. Until the AI, and this is the downside example, if the AI comes back and says, okay, it's only a 20 or a 94% possibility that it's going to continue to go down, the system takes that as the buy signal and buys it. Now, why is that important? Because it's not just looking at a drop, a finite drop. Let's just say it's a down day, as it has been for the last, on and off for the last couple of months. It will go down. It may go down 7%, 8%, 10%. You've seen, if you've watched the market at all, you can see that things can go down 10% in the morning and go up 20% on the same coin or token at the end of the day. So this takes advantage, gets it at the lowest and best price, and continues to watch the market. Now on the upside, just the opposite, but the same. And I know that sounds weird. So if the price moves up by 3%, the platform says, oh, it told me to take a profit. It calls the AI on the upside. There's only two AIs, one on the downside and one on the upside. Hey, AI, what do you think? Is the price going to continue to go up, or should I take this profit? It may come back, and we'll show you examples where of executed filled order trades at the bottom where it says, oh, no, hold on. The market's raging, which it's taken a pretty good blip today. I don't think you should take that trade right now. I don't think you should take that profit. So again, they partner up on a millisecond basis until the AI comes back and it says, I'm only 93% sure it will lock in that profit. But the profit may not be 3%. It may be 4. We've seen 15. We've seen 20% moves. So what do the AIs do and why are they important? They're not the star of the dish, but they're a great bell and whistle that maximizes the buy opportunity and maximizes the profit opportunity. So, and then it just collects inventory, right? People go, well, wait a minute, you got negative numbers. All this are theoretical, if you wanted to look at it, as paper losses, right? But they're not losses. They are inventory lots, of which I just showed you, that is just waiting, collecting, waiting for the next big move. And like I say most every week these days is that we are in the crypto trading market. We are in the dinosaur age. If you were put together a timeline, they're just starting institutional adoption. When institution means the banks can play, and the banks were really upset that they couldn't play in this marketplace. Well, because of the Stablecoin Act, the Genius Act, they get to play. So who's the biggest proponent of crypto? That was the biggest adversary of crypto? The banks. The banks equals institutions. When the banks get involved, everybody gets involved because the next move is into the retail space. You and I being able to invest in crypto positions in our retirement accounts or wherever the case may be. So I say all that because we're at a time that will never repeat itself. But when the rockets take off, which is coming soon, you want to be in a position where you have a trader that has some inventory because it literally is just going to liquidate to profits as it does. Look down the bottom, right? Today, there was a trade at 10 o'clock. It sold off a position. Yesterday was a second. Yes, yesterday was a second. So it sold, right, here you go, from the beginning. 1:30 in the morning, it took a profit. 8 and 9, it started buying lots again. 9, 11 to 3 o'clock, all these bolds are profits. These are all in your sleep money. I didn't have to pay attention to this. Matter of fact, I didn't even know it made a profit. But what it does, let me draw your attention over to the blue on the left-hand side. I talked about the account value. The next line down is how much profit it's taken today. I didn't have to work for that money, but there's my $20, right? Normally on this simulation account, it makes $200 or $300 or $400. As a matter of fact, I did calculations this morning, and it is making an average of $252.62 a day. All right. If you calculate that on 10,000, that's $25.27 a day, right? Just giving you reference points on lower numbers. This amount is how much it's made, which actually the market has been down and sideways, but still, since its publication, this platform was released in April of 2021. During that period, the market's been down over 90%. Yet it has produced over that time an average of triple digit returns. I don't know where you get that anywhere else. If we came on and said, hey, here's an opportunity where you can make 25%, 30% on your money, everybody would go, wow, where? What? We're talking about 5, 6, 7, 8 times that. So over that period of time, which I did those numbers 162 days ago, I started this simulation. It's taken $252.62 per day, totaling over that time period almost $41,000 on a $100,000 investment. If you had $10,000, that's $4,000. It's running, and by the way, it's only just over 5 months. So it's running at a pace of 92 currently in a down, crappy, sideways market, 92.21% profit on an annualized basis. That doesn't suck. Can you imagine when this trader sees a bull market? It's never seen a bull market. Who knows what it's going to do? Again, we can't guarantee anything up, down, sideways, but I can tell you these are all facts. We didn't. This is an actual account. It's not dummied figures. It's not a demo. The machine doesn't know that it's not real money. So with that, Attila, did you want me to take you into some of the reports, or do we want to wait for the Q&A for that?
Yeah, I think we'll wait for the Q&A on that because it always comes up. And if it doesn't come up, we could obviously, bring it up ourselves.
Yep.
Um, you know, if
And
somebody cornered me on an elevator and asked me in 20, 30 seconds to explain this, kind of an elevator pitch, so to speak, it's real simple. When your coin goes up by 3%, or more, depending on if the AI kicks in, it's going to take a profit. When it goes down at least 3% or more, based on the AI kicking in, it'll buy more at a lower price. End of story, period. That's it. We could end the Zoom right now. Now, obviously, some people are going to want to know more intricate questions. How does it do this? How does it do that? Guess what? I own this trader because I'm non-technical. I'm a big picture guy. When I get in my car and I go to the doctor's office, I don't want to know how the gasoline gets into the engine, makes those pistons go, makes the wheels turn, and gets me to the doctor. I just know it works, it goes. That's why I bought the car. So I'm not going to try to understand over 3 million lines of code. Okay. There's a built-in, like Edward said, there's a built-in money management system. That actually is the main part of the trader, not the AI. Ed Barsano says that all the time. Okay. So the AI is not the main part of the dish. The money management system and the strategy is the main part. It knows exactly how many lots to buy, at what price, and when. How does it do it exactly? I don't know. I'm not a programmer, but that's why I own the trader, because I want to take advantage of the volatility. So, if it's something you absolutely have to know how it works, you're going to have to wait till Ed Barsano's on here and he could take an hour and explain it to you. Because once he gets going on that, he's not going to stop talking. Ask Anthony, he knows. Uh, yeah, free therapy sessions, right, Anthony? You got it. But anyway, with that, Edward, why don't you cover something really cool? Why don't you cover the $1 billion report? Because that thing,
Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
yeah.
Yep. And just to shout out to Arlene, she put it into the had a question in the chat. Anybody that has a question that you'd like answered when we transition to Q&A, please copy and paste it into the Q&A. But Arlene, I'm going to talk to you about what if it buys, then the price goes down. Does it get out at a minimal loss? No. The money management system is programmed to never sell at a loss. It just holds the inventory. All it's doing is buying it at one price and selling it at a higher price. That's all it does. And I may have not looked over when I was giving the last example, when I was showing the paper losses. They're not really losses. They're just inventory waiting to be sold off at the next market jump. And I promise you, that's not a guess. It's not a if, it's a when. It happens all the time, day in, day out, in your sleep. So with that, Let me bring up and share the $1 billion report. Oh, let me do this. Let me do this. You're going to see this jump. Sorry about that. I'm going to copy a couple of emails. The support emails I said as before we accelerate or excel at providing good quality customer service. If we don't get to your question today, or you still end up having questions, even though we provide all of this, you'll get a replay at the end of not at the end, but within 48 hours. We do post it on our financial intelligence YouTube channel, of which I'll put all of those links so nobody's got to scurry around. But excuse me, we'll provide you whatever you need. If it's a technical question, please route it to support@gobabytrade.com. If you own the trader, you know that you have access to Mr. Barsano and his team directly. RCT marketing systems, or if you have a non-technical questions, send it to support@RCT marketing. I just posted that. That goes to Attila and I and our team, and we'll field those questions. We will not leave you behind. Not before you buy the trader, not if you decide not to buy the trader, or if you buy the trader. Excuse me, we're creating a community, everybody on the planet. And sometimes we sound like we're selling, but we're not. We're just excited about what we have at our access. Attila and I are so blessed to be able to, as we said before, provide the support and direction and the illumination and education to Crypto Casey's audience. You don't have to do it. We're just showing you, because we'd feel bad if we hit the lottery and we didn't tell you about it. So you have the same opportunity that we have. So with that, let me share the trader again. All right, in the beginning, I talked about this magic $1 billion report. I'm the one that made that up, but it's priceless. So on the link when you go to Crypto Casey's, it is high trades. I don't know why he calls it differently here, but here it's the highest trade counts. This is a report that comes out monthly that collects data from every crypto trader, not the stocks, just the crypto traders that are out in the marketplace, which are north of 10,000, that aggregates and reports the information on successful, profitable trades. These are not guesses. These are actual statistics reporting directly from the database. Why is it important? Because people go, wow, this sounds really cool, but I don't know anything about crypto. How am I supposed to pick coins that I think are good? Guess what? Set it and forget it. You don't have to think about it. Bring up this report. And if you go, well, I don't know what Swift does or SPA does or what L3 does or what any of these does, and just look at the numbers. You've got the type, which is this, I talked about value added improvements added on a daily and weekly basis. A month ago, these hyperlinks didn't exist. But if you wanted to know what Swift did, or pick SPA, what did SPA do? Click on that. Ed's team has created it so you can do your own research. There isn't any stone that's left unturned. The next, it tells you whether it's a utility, a meme, or if you go down a little bit further, a non-fungible token, right? So utility means simply that it is doing something in the marketplace to create a service that makes the entire decentralized ecosystem better. You can go look it up, but you don't have to do a whole lot of work, right? You're talking about, this is a $1 billion company that the price of the token, or if you were used to saying stocks, is a penny. In the last year, it's traded successfully, profitably. Again, it doesn't sell at a loss, so it can only count the profits of 1,047. A monthly average is 109. If you just simply do the math and you figure you've got a full portfolio because you have a seasoned account and it's got a lot of inventory, yes, what you think is a loss really isn't a loss. It's setting up for extreme success. But if you just calculate, listen, I went to public school. I think Attila and Anthony always call me on that. So I get to get a calculator out. So if you own that, hang on, I know it's relatively easy, but my brain is focused. 109 times 3. If it traded on average 109 times on average month over the last year, you're looking at a 3% move, and that's not counting if it took even a higher profit. You're looking at a potential return if you own that one coin of 327%. return. Now, out to the right, what it does is it tells you it shows you the trailing months. You can see that higher month trades means that the market was extraordinarily volatile. What's happened over the past 3 or 4 months? It's been consolidating, right? Anybody that thought, oh man, 5 months ago we were at the bottom of the market and I'm going to scoop up a whole bunch and hold on to them. Guess what? The market's been down another 40+%. But that doesn't matter to a trader because it doesn't matter whether it's trading here and you have some inventory here, 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 and here, and the price is down here. It continues to wiggle. If it moves 3% in any direction, you're taking advantage of the market. You're collecting that. You're taking money when everybody else is just sitting up here holding it. Well, it may be wiggling down here, but if it's not above the price that they paid for it, then they're not taking a profit. The magic of the system is it's all done for you. It simply trades, always keeps you in the game, which is why at the beginning, when you deposit your money and it starts trading, it carves it up into relatively small pieces that allows you to play in the game. And a lot of people, what that equates to on the other side is people go, I really love what it's doing, but I wish it put more money into each trade. Well, this is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Don't outthink the system. It comes defaulted. You don't have to do anything. If you want, the only thing that you do have to decision, if you will, is what coins you want to trade. But guess what? And I can't show you because it happens as you sign up and as it automatically goes into simulation even before it connects to your Coinbase or Kraken account. And it says, okay, which ones do you want to trade? Well, Mr. Barsano has built in out of the top 10, I think it's either 4 or 5 that you just hit, I want to trade default. Stop thinking. Or you can do your own research and pick which one you like. That's it. That's as hard as this process gets. You didn't have to go to 8 years of school plus another 5 in medical school and then residency to figure out that it takes 10 minutes to make money.
Edward,
Yes.
do you mind if I interject a few things here? One fallacy that everybody has, for some reason, I don't know why people default to this kind of thinking, but they believe that the more coins they put in, the more money the trader is going to make. It's actually the opposite.
Mhm.
So Mr. Barsano has about 4 or 5 different accounts. He seldom begins or opens an account for less than 200K. And those traders of his have made a tremendous amount of money. I don't think in any one of those 4 or 5 accounts he's had more than 3 or 4 coins.
Mm-mm.
You don't need more than 3 or 4 coins. Now, on the contrary, if you're trading with just a very little bit of money, let's say under $1,000 or even under 2,000, 1 or 2 coins are fine. I wouldn't even put a third one until you're over 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't get crazy. Another thing you don't want to get involved in. Please stay away from this. Trust me on this, unless you're a masochist. If you're a masochist, go ahead and do this. But don't start with 4 coins and then a month later try to switch out those 4 for a different 4, and then 2 months later try to switch. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Pick 4 good projects and stick with them. Trust me on that one. It gets messy. Technically, can you do it? Yeah. Does it get messy? It can and it will. Don't do that.
Yep.
Okay. Coinbase and Kraken do not list crappy projects. They list projects that they do a lot of due diligence on, a lot of research, because guess what? It's their reputation that's on the line. If they list the dog and it doesn't do well, they're going to look really bad. Now, has a coin on Coinbase and Kraken been delisted in the past? Yes. Very, very few and far between. Very unlikely. So you could even take a dart and throw it at that highest trade count, which is the $1 billion report, and probably keep trading it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay, but if you stick to the top 20, you certainly can't go wrong. And then if you don't want to even think about it, when you buy the trader or you buy the license, there's a gray bar on the main screen that you come to that says click here for the default coins. And it goes into the 4 coins that Ed Barsano has been trading for the last 3 years, 4 years. So it's so simple, but please heed that advice because it's really important.
Yep. And to back that up, going back to this that I showed you earlier, You
Yep.
can, and this is a do your own research, right? Click on the Casey link. It takes you to the to that to the landing page, and then in there, click the high trade reports, and then within that, it's interactive. So this is reporting. If you click on the yellow, it shows you the three coins that this person
Yeah.
made
This is gold.
477%, right?
This information is gold.
Yep. So if you get, let's just go down and get a couple more. Look,
One. We're trading one.
55% on one coin, 100% allocation. Here's an oddity. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
Yeah, that's rare.
That's
That is
that's
really.
that's a rarity, particularly with a relatively small amount of money, but still a 206% return doesn't suck, right? One, two, three, four, five. Sorry, doesn't stink. I promised everybody there, or I asked everybody to be semi-adult. That's my semi-adult coming out. Um, you've got five. So you can there's a lot of stuff you can click on before you make a decision, but don't sleep on it. Don't be too overwhelmed with fact to paralyze you from making a decision that could help you or not. So there's other parts. Let's go back. Let me see if I can get back to the to that front page because I want to go over some of the things that we really want you to take a look at. Geez, I don't know why my internet is slow as molasses. Um, bear with me. Mm.
While you're doing that, I just want to let everybody know that although we're talking about the crypto trader, Mr. Barsano still has at his disposal, if somebody would want to get a stock trader, when he developed the crypto trader, at the same time he redid and started from scratch with the stock trader, learning what he learned from the previous
Yep.
20 years. Now, I don't know why anybody would want to trade stocks when you have a ton more volatility in crypto, but some people are just goo goo gaga over that stuff. If you want to trade that 100% unattended as well, you get the same $1,000 discount. It's the same link. It's just that you would click on, you see the blue button in the top right there. It says switch to stocks. So maybe you didn't know that. I just want to give you that info.
Yep, but the power of this machine, you know, if you're an ultra long-term player, the stock trader may be of value. It has been for the last 25 years, but with the advent of the crypto market, as I said, it can go down 10% in the morning and go up 20% in the afternoon, and that's what it does best. It eats volatility and takes advantage. You cannot outthink it, right? If you consider having an entire trading house of hundreds of traders staring at screens. By the way, you know, as you've seen memes and pictures of it, professional traders staring at six or seven screens. Well, in the background, what I forgot to mention with the AI is it simultaneously 24/7, 365, not a second of a break, analyzes all 27 financial indicators on the market that you will never see, you don't care about, but it will not miss a trade. And we've seen it trade something where it will buy something, right? ACH, Alchemy Pay. It'll buy it, and 5 minutes later, it'll sell it at a 3% profit or better. Or as in Mr. Barsano's, and you'll see it in that replay that I suggested that you watch with where both Crypto Casey and Ed Barsano joined. He'll show you a trader. He'll go over Alchemy Pay where it went from he had hundreds of lots that in one day the price was like 2.5 cents, and within 3 days it went to 5.5 cents. It cleared out all his inventory, and he made an absolute fortune in that one day. And that's the power of the trader. So I'm having a little bit of trouble with the internet, but I'm just going to go across the top. The pricing, if you clicked on it, if you just went to Go Baby Trade, you're going to see that it's 4,499.
Okay.
Right?
Edward,
Yes.
I just want to read something really written very well by our friend Anthony. And he just gives a little testimony on his personal situation. He said, I started my trader 92 days ago with $4,700. And with only 4 weeks in it, it took $300 plus of profits. I invested more money and will continue to invest. I'm now trading with $10,000 plus with only 3 coins and currently sitting on $1,816 plus of total profit. Wow. At this rate, I'll hit ROI in roughly 175 days. Everything else is money in my exchange. Hey, he says, follow the money. Anthony, thanks for sharing that. That's a
Yeah.
good testimony there. We love it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that is a great testimony. That's why we leave the chat open. So you hear from real people that it's unsolicited, that it just simply works. So I'm going to briefly go across the top. You've got the pricing, like I said, $44.95, but discounted to $34.95. I'll post that link again several more times before we go. Videos, you can go look at all of the videos anywhere from how to connect your account once you buy the license, connecting it to your exchange. But if you haven't had any trouble with that, we're at your service. We want you to be successful. We will help you. If you can't, if it's too scary or too daunting for you to do it on your own, it's very simple. It's a 10-minute process. You can send an email to support at RCT Marketing Systems and set up an appointment. We'll jump on a Zoom, get you connected, and then go back to living your life well. Top traders, we just went over. Trade counts, that's the billion-dollar report. There's a sample trader you can click on that is one of Ed Barsano's live behind the scenes. It doesn't have as much information as mine does, but it shows you the basic trading data. That it won't have the blue section on the left. It won't. I don't think it has the filled orders on the right, but it's another resource for you to be able to go do your research. Right? Frequently asked questions. A lot of the stuff that comes up in the Q&A on a weekly basis, we pick the most frequently asked questions and we put them in the frequently asked questions section. It's all relatively self-explanatory, but again, you're part of a community. Whether you come here for the next 6 months and the link that you use to register for this week, if it's your first time, you can use that. Where this is going to be in perpetuity until somebody stands up and says, I'm tired of making so much money. Stop showing us how to do it. Right? We'll be here every week. So whether you decide to join the family now, later, or never, you're always welcome back to this community. We cannot emphasize how much we appreciate the opportunity to share what we believe is once in a lifetime.
Edward?
Yes, sir.
We got a little surprise today. I asked one of our most loyal licensees if he would be so kind to take just 2 minutes to share his results since he started, I think, in January, and he's willing to do so. So Patrick J., if you don't mind, do you have to allow him to join the Zoom?
I do. Let me find you, Patrick. Hang on a second, and you can join us as a panelist, I believe. That's an exciting opportunity. I've never done this before, so bear with me.
Sure, no problem. And Patrick, thanks for taking a few minutes.
Patrick, there we go.
We know you've experienced some great results with your trader, and you're really jazzed about it, so can't wait to see it.
All right, Patrick, I'm getting ready to promote you. My only request is make sure you have pants on.
I told him he doesn't even have to show his face if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, there you go.
All right,
there
cool.
You go. All right, Patrick's on with us.
You're muted.
Yep.
Patrick.
There you go.
Here we are.
There you are. Hello, Patrick. Nice to see you, sir.
There's the man.
How's it going?
All right. Thank you
Thanks for volunteering to join us.
No problem at all.
Yeah, tell everybody in a few words when you started and maybe if you could share your results with a screen share, that would be awesome.
Okay, great. I started on January 8th, 2025, okay. And I've been actually just really thrilled with the whole thing. I know that my returns probably haven't been as high as others, but the thing that I'm seeing is that the results are consistent. And that it's just nice to see that every day, not every day, but that it's working every day. And you might get surprised, and you might get 10 trades in a day, or you might get no trades in a day, or even 2. But eventually it comes around. And the other thing that I'm amazed is that how good the performance has been, even when Bitcoin is down. Sometimes my returns, I've had the highest return months on down months for Bitcoin. And like, for example, the market has been really flat, but July, I had my best month ever. So I can go ahead and share that real quick.
Yeah,
That would be great.
I've allowed you share capabilities. So, and I'm happy to see that you are wearing pants. Thank you, Patrick.
Okay, you should be able to see my screen.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, what a great display.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, this is the total amount of profits that I've made. I average about $440 a month, averaging $16.70 a day. My best month was in July for $817. I've had a total of 840 closed trades, and I'm averaging about $4.73 per trade. And
wow, but that's 16. I'm sorry for the interruption. Let me just, I gave the example of $20 a day. If you walked out your front door every day and picked up a $16.70 bill, would you be happy? I mean, 20,
I would be,
right?
I am happy.
Times 365. That's a return of, or a profit of $6,095.50. Oh, and by the way, it's shitty in a down market. Times 3 is a return on your investment of your original investment, not considering your invested funds, but your license, $3,400 you pay, or $3,500 you paid, and your profit would be $18,286.50.
Correct. And I know that my results will get better. I just know that I'm due. I'm due. Right now in my inventory, I have over 120 open positions. So I know that when the market does go up, I will have a lot of inventory to sell. I'm using the potato chip strategy, and as Ed talks about. And do you want me to share the other PDF that I have with the? I can go ahead and show how much capital was utilized during the months.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let me ask you. Good.
No, go ahead, Edward.
Let me ask you this, Patrick, and it's an answer that you do not have to give. We have one of our audience asking how much you started with, and probably a better question is how much do you think you have invested beyond the capital cost of the trader itself?
Okay, bear with me here while I get my screen. This is the report that I put together. Okay, so for example, and this just shows you really it doesn't take much capital. When I first started, I had less than, I would say, $3,000 or $4,000 to start. And in January and February, it was a very high active, and it was growing. So I had almost $700 in returns. But then I've been steadily adding more and more money into my account. So this is how much I have in USDC right now.
Okay.
Roughly.
Okay.
Wow.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the analysis that you're doing, and what a great presentation that actually articulates exactly to the T on a monthly basis how this is performing for you.
Right. And this chart here shows when the trader is extremely active and it's reinvesting your funds, or the number of trades, even with only a few thousand in, it invested over 24,000 in turnover. So
wow.
and then it went down, right? Like March was just flat, and then it went up a little bit more. But again, like I had more in the account, but that just shows how well the money management is, that it's not going to just dump everything in. So you can rest comfortably that your funds are going to be, that the investment is going to be conservative. It is actually a very conservative trader.
It is. It is. I want to see
your numbers go off the charts when the markets start move parabolically. Right. All the slots that you have open, that's good. That's going to be a jump up and down. Wearing pants or not, that's going to be a good day for you.
Yeah. So you can see here, like in February, that they had I opened 202 positions. That was just a phenomenal month.
Hmm.
But then like July was my best, but that's because I had more capital invested too. But still, that was kind of like an even month. This one's been a lot slower, but my overall open positions has been increasing.
So I'm curious. There's an anomaly in the middle, and this proves that the trader does again. It's a little bit deeper analysis, and we won't go too deep. But look in April, you opened 95 positions, but you closed 105. You closed more than you opened.
Correct. And of course, the running open went down.
Right, right.
Yep.
That's excellent. Wow, wow.
And I got
That's
one more to
a-
share. This
Really?
shows my monthly profit versus Bitcoin monthly returns. So, for example, on the right-hand side is the return of Bitcoin, and this is in the negative. So, for example, January it was up almost 10%, and then it went down and almost 15%, I think, right around here. But yet I had higher returns. And then in July, Bitcoin was doing well, but of course you can see how well it performed there too. So, but the thing is that it's very consistent all the time.
Yeah, and Bitcoin is not one of the coins you have the trader trading.
No, I don't. I've done a little bit of the dollar cost averaging in it, but and I have XRP to dollar cost average, but other than that, I have about 4 currencies that I'm actively buying.
That's excellent. Wow. I mean, there couldn't be a better testimonial. Thank you for unsolicited sharing that with the audience. That's spectacular. It's not something we do on a weekly basis.
You're welcome.
What are your favorite coins to trade, if you don't mind sharing? And you don't have to if you don't want to.
Well, one of the mistakes that I think I might have made was that I wanted to do this rotation strategy of where I was going to I was getting really involved with the $1 billion report, and then I was looking at what was hot, and then I was leaving the positions open to sell, but then also closing off the buy orders. But lately it's been SWE, XYO, which is a geolocation, and then XRP is dollar cost averaging, and I forget what else. I'm kind of nervous.
And the first one you said was SUI, SUI, right?
SUI, right?
Yep.
Great company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great company. Yeah, very solid. That's a layer 1 blockchain, folks. Hey, Patrick, I can't thank you enough for sharing this. This was very well done, very professional,
Thank
very
you.
calculated, and thank you so much. Well,
All right.
Yes, yes. Appreciate it very much, Patrick. I'm gonna demote you, not because I don't love you, but
It's a pleasure to see everybody.
yes. Thank you
thanks
so
for being
much.
on.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Bye. All right, well, that was fabulous. Edward, what do you say we get into the questions?
Yes, let me do a little bit of maintenance here. Let me make sure that that Patrick is back. Change role to attendee. There you go. Patrick may disappear from the screen. There you go. Thank you, Patrick. That was so amazing. We're getting a lot of positive comments that people really liked it as well.
Yes.
What a great surprise. Thank you. Okay, so if we miss anything again, I'll post. As a matter of fact, let me post it right now. Give me just a second. Part of the maintenance is, hey, I'm going to post our YouTube channel where all of these replays get sent. That'll be there probably by mid-morning tomorrow. And then everybody that's registered, whether you attended or not, if you're not here, no worries. You're going to get the replay via email within the next 48 hours. But you can go to the YouTube channel that I just posted, and if you would allow me, please, to do some selfless promotion. Not selfish. When you go there, like us, follow us, subscribe, do all the YouTubey things that they do in the YouTubey verse, and we appreciate you following, because that way, and then set it to alert you and notify you when something new's coming out, because we've got some surprises. I won't reveal a whole bunch now, but we're going to be starting up a community. We're also going to be sharing more educational information and videos of how-tos, particularly framed towards the two things: the community that knows nothing about the 92% that I talked about, that doesn't know much, if anything, about this universe that needs to know, and then all of the educated folks that are up to date, or at least able to absorb the information that comes out on a daily basis. So much content. We're going to work towards breaking it down. We're going to put some newsletters together so that you can look at the future brightly with confidence. But again, I'll say this, as I said before, this is a community. This is a family. We're here to support you. This is only the beginning. This happens to be the core value product that literally just makes money while you sleep, but it will grow to give you more opportunity, and we will include you that opportunity as well. So with that, go ahead.
Edward, before you attack Mike's question there, let me just read a comment from Russell G, who's with us almost every week. And Russell, we appreciate you and your wife being with us all the time. But he made a comment to Anthony. He said, I went live with $25,000 in March, and even in this down market, still have made $13,000.
What? That's a 50% return since March.
These guys are right, and you should only have 3 or 4 coins, because I had over 60 coins in my trader back in May and June, not knowing what I was doing, and did make a pretty good chunk of money with them, but most all of them bombed within a few weeks of me and stopped producing anything. I was left trying to sell these off, live and learn. So thank you for sharing, Russ. And please, folks, don't get crazy with getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coins. Believe me, if you're under 5,000, 2 is fine. When you go over 5,000, add a third. If you start with over 5, 3 or 4 is plenty. You're going to do great. Please listen and heed that advice. Go ahead, Edward.
All right. So Mike, we're happy to have you here. So first off, I'm so happy I signed up. My question relates to how the trader enters and exits trades. We'll try to address it. If it gets too technical, then we'll sick Ed on you. Because the trader will add trades on declining and advancing when it sets a percentage move occurs, is it possible that, for example, the very first entry made by the trader could end up experiencing a very large downturn and end up, drawdown, and end up sitting on an account for a long time, such as months, until such time that that price retraces back up to a profit level for its first trade. So really, I should not be worried when price continues to wiggle downwards and away from the first trade, because eventually, could be months, price should rise again, hitting the profit level on the first trade. Hopefully this question makes sense. Thanks for responding. Mike, even for a small brain like me, it makes sense. So, and you've seen, thank you for that question. I know you have another one. We'll answer that as well. But you've seen when, and you'll see it in if folks want to watch that replay I posted, and you can peruse the Financial Intelligence YouTube and watch whatever you want. But that particular one is when both Casey and Ed Barsano were with us. But Ed, on that one, Ed shows his trader as he does most every week. And he points out the fact that ACH was one of his examples. He was buying ACH at 12 cents back in 2021, and it's traded as low as 1.2 cents, which means his first trades have never sold at a profit, which fits, I think, nicely into your question, Mike. But if you look at, and I wish I had it to show you that he's holding a lot of negative positions, including some of his first positions, but it doesn't really matter, because over time, as it keeps you in the game and it continues to buy as the price goes down, it may go down a little bit, wiggle, go down a little bit. But remember, I said, since he started this trader, the market's down over 90%. ACH, as a round number example, he probably has a loss of about 80 or 85,000 in positions that haven't sold. But in the wiggles all along the way, he's taken almost $350,000 in profits. And now these aren't my words, but these are Ed Barsano's words. He doesn't care whether it ever retraces. Again, we know we're in the dinosaur age. When things take off, he will sell everything at a profit, as will anybody that has this trader that holds inventory at all. But the point being is his comment is nobody can take that $350,000 in profit, even though if it stopped trading and the world ended today, he would lose the positions of the $84,000 that he has in open positions, which I promise you in ACH are some of his first positions, right? So that's not really a direct answer. It's more of an analysis of how the machine works and why it doesn't matter whether it ever sells the first positions. But again, we're at the bottom of the market. I mean, we're 95-ish% down across the board on most everything. Bitcoin and some others being the anomaly, but those aren't the ones that you're going to trade anyway. I don't know anybody that's going to put $100,000 in to buy one coin to wait for a 3% move to make $3,000 when you can take any of those top performers, top 10 on the $1 billion report, and just percentage wise and dollars in your bank, no brainer money. So, all right, hopefully that addressed it correctly. Another question Mike has: how does the trader deal with changes to the numbers of currencies available to trade? For example, if I started out with 10 currencies, but then want to drop to 4, look at Attila's head to 4. Does the trader no longer add to those currencies, remove from the list, and only trade the 4 currencies left? So the answer is don't do it.
Don't do it.
However, if you wanted to, and I think this is going to benefit you from, let me share the screen. Let me see if I can get back to my trader. Hang on just one second, because I'll show you where you can do it. I wouldn't suggest doing it, but let me find you again. There you are. All right. So if you wanted to, I got to get rid of this screen. If you wanted to adjust, and let's just say you were like Russ and started out with a whole bunch and wanted to weed it down, but only do it once and don't ever do it again, is edit currencies. I'm sorry, select currencies. If you wanted to discontinue the trading thereof and redeploy any money that has been previously allocated to those positions, this is how you would do it. So if you decided that you did not want to trade Zora anymore, which several weeks ago, maybe it's 2 or 3 weeks ago, somebody said, hey, why is I'm trading Zora, why isn't it on the $1 billion report? Well, it has to have a full year of trading data in order to show up on that report. So there are some invisibles, but as you can see, I added it to see if in fact it could be traded, and it could. But let's just say you didn't want to trade that anymore. All you would do is uncheck the first 2 boxes. Whoops. Let me see. You can see it's got fail safes all the way around. Let's see if it takes that. No, I don't want to show password. It's probably because I'm sharing it. Take my word for it. I got to cancel that because it's not going to work. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, it did. So if you just remove the first 2, I don't know what it did, but it added it back in. Hypothetically, take that check mark off. Take that check mark off. It will then zero out the remaining funds, these funds, which then you can reallocate to either the new coins or other existing coins that you have.
Yeah, but caveat, the reason you don't want to get involved in this is we don't know how long that could take to sell off.
Right.
There's no guarantee it'll sell it off in 1 or 2 weeks. It could be 3 or 4 or 5 months. It could be 8 months. We don't know. So your best bet is to pick 3 or 4 really good coins that you're comfortable with and stick with them. Like I said, unless you're the masochist, don't get involved in switching out coins and starting with way too many in the beginning. This is a message I consistently talk about, and yet people go off the rails and get crazy with all these coins, and then they call about switching them out, and I'm like, ay.
No, and as not to pick on Russ, but Russ self-admittedly was going through that discovery process. So he has a bad, good, bad, very good story, because it turned out that he only started in March and he's made a significant return on his money, and now he's down to where he I believe is heeding our advice. So Russ,
all right,
thank you.
well, let me Yeah, thanks, Edward. Let me grab the next two questions from Sam Y. So it says, Ed, you mentioned before something about setting up a fully funded GoBaby trade for my children instead of leaving them a bunch of silver coins. How do I do that? Well, you basically buy an additional license. You fund that trader to either Coinbase or Kraken with however much or however little crypto you wish, and just let it rip. I mean, if your children are young, this is a lifetime trader. By the time, let's say they're 15, by the time they're 25, can you imagine what a trader can do for them in 10 years with 10 or 20 grand? I mean, it's off the charts. So you could do one, or you could do one for each child, but it is a separate license. You can't set up a trader for multiple people off of one license. It's one license per person, and it's one license for crypto and a separate license for the stock trader, just so everybody knows. Good question, Sam. The other question Sam had was, when I'm not able to log into my Coinbase account and Coinbase seems to shut down on huge days. Yeah, they're not accessible on huge days. Is the GoBaby trade unable to trade when that happens? You know, this is a really good question. Here's why. The day that I reconnected with Ed Barsano and the day that I ended up buying the trader for him on the spot, which was the same day, that was one of my questions to him. And the answer is no. There will not be any the trader, GoBaby trade, will not be affected by days that are very, very, very busy or very, very, very volatile, where you can't even log into your Coinbase account because it's an API connection. It's automated. It's not an issue. Great question. You want to catch Steve's question? You're muted, Edward. You're muted.
Sorry, that's because I had my son who's homeschooled asking me questions in the background. Sorry.
No problem.
All right, Steve, welcome. Thank you for the question. I've had the trader since mid-June 2025. I have a couple of questions. One, there was talk about a community group for us to discuss strategies. Is that still happening? Yes, it is. It will not be a GoBaby trade monitored or direct with GoBaby trade. It is going to be with financial intelligence. We're working on it in the background. I know I keep saying that, but yes, it's about ready to go. We do need some input about the use of data from Ed Barsano and the GoBaby Trade legal team, but we're going to cover that probably in the next week to 10 days. And then anybody that wants to, and what we'll do is on a future Zoom, is we'll make an announcement. We'll post a link, and then you can request access to the community. And you will be, here's the requirement. The initial requirement is the community is going to be for GoBaby Trade owners. Now, don't be mad, don't be sad, because then we're going to open it past that. We're going to password lock the GoBaby Trade community and approve you into that community if you are an owner, but you will have access to other, as we suggested. This is just a starting point for us. When I say this, meaning this trading platform, but we're looking at education on a much wider base. To give you example, without going too deep, if we're showing you with this trader how you can make money in your sleep, wouldn't you want to properly structure it so that it's in a trust or an LLC, so it is properly protected and your assets are protected for your legacy? The answer is yes. Do you want to understand tax strategies that may help you better understand how crypto is taxed over the short and long term? Yes. How do you want to minimize potentially the exposure, which we talked about in that big red screen? We're not any of those advisors, but what we're doing is we're putting together joint ventures for having partners in that level of expertise join us. So as this community grows, there'll be a spot for everybody. And then eventually, if you're an owner and a trader, you will and join us on these calls. We'll have breakout sessions or separate masterminds in order for you to understand each piece of the ecosystem with the overarching goal of your ultimate long-term success. If you're making money in your sleep, keep it, protect it. That's what we're about. So yes, Steve, we are We are going to release that. We just need to get the okay from Ed and his legal team, and then we will post it. So please stay tuned. So that's question number one. Number two, I know the question of testing comes up each week. However, my question is, for people who've already purchased the trader, wouldn't it be a good idea for the subscribers to have the ability to paper trading to figure out strategies?
No, are you talking
So
about, does he mean once they own the trader, should
yeah,
they
that's what he
take
that's
the
what he's
trade
saying.
first?
For people that already own the trader, would it not be a good idea for subscribers to have the ability to paper trade? That's a very interesting question. That's
No,
something.
why is it interesting? They do have the ability to paper trade.
No. If they already own the trader and it's active, once it's active,
Oh,
you can't paper trade as well and I get
no, it's
exactly
either
what you're
or.
saying, Steve.
It's either
It's
or. Yeah.
it's either or, but that's a very interesting question. And if you'd like, we'll take it to Mr. Barsano. I can't guarantee you an answer. I can't guarantee you a good answer or a bad answer. But overall, just looking from the outside in, which is probably where you came up with that question, that's actually very interesting to be able to, as you see, I've got a simulated account. I actually have several simulations. But that's, if I can't answer that in the positive, and that's going to have to come from Ed Barsano, what we might be able to do, and this is just off the cuff, is when we do open the community, that maybe we can have strategy sessions, and I can restart any of my simulations over, and we can kind of play with the machine if it makes sense. It kind of does, but once you're trading, Steve, as you are live now, you're pretty much locked in, and as we suggested, don't change your strategy. But we do have people that buy multiple traders. So if you employ a simulation strategy in what we do in maybe one of our work sessions, and it makes sense to you for you to run another trader without jumbling up because your first trader is going to have a lot more inventory that you don't want to mess with, then it may be worth considering an additional investment. But that's just my 2.5 cents, 12 cents, 2 Bitcoin
Okay.
on the question. So, yep. Steve says, yes, I already own it. Yes, please. We will take that to Mr. Barsano and get his feedback.
Okay.
So,
Good
Attila?
job, Edward. I'll grab the next two questions. One of them is in the Q&A and one of them is in the chat. So Arlene from New Jersey is asking, will the option that picks the coins automatically only pick a couple of coins? In other words, will it allocate the best number of coins? Is BTC normally one of the coins it selects? Let me answer. BTC, if you go to that amazing billion-dollar report, Arlene, you'll see that BTC out of 350 coins is like number 330. It is not nearly as volatile as the ones that are in the top 50. So don't waste your time trading BTC. Now, the answer to the first part of your question is that you could certainly use the trader to dollar cost average Bitcoin. That's a lot of people do that. But the coins that are picked, I believe, are these four. It is Pepe, it is Ondo, it is WIF, and it is Bonk. Those four absolutely rock, and they're in the top 10, 15. Okay, so you could see there that Swift is number one, Bonk is number 9. Pepe, not sure, you got to scroll down for Pepe. I don't see it, but
Number 22.
number 22, and then Bonk, and then what was the fourth one? Bonk?
Sui was,
Swift? No, it
is it
wasn't Sui. It was Swift, Bonk, Pepe, and one more.
Whiff?
Right. They're very, very volatile, they do very, very good, and they've done amazing for Ed. So don't worry about the default button. They're going to give you 4 very, very good coins to trade with, and that's why we're very confident when we say save yourself the headache. Just, now if you're trading with $500 or 1,000, I wouldn't start with 4 coins. I would just pick like SUI, SUI, or Bonk, or I do very well with AIOX. I'm sorry, AIOZ. It's an AI coin, and it just kicks butt for me. So good question, Arlene.
Yep. And if you look at the screen, I brought the $1 billion report up.
Yeah, take a look
Bitcoin
at
is
that.
number 352, right?
Yeah.
Only has not averaging 9 trades, but who's got $100,000 to put into to that much Bitcoin when the volatility just simply isn't there? A year's number, 125 in a year, three this month or last month, the month before, the month before. That's what's so important and so powerful about this report. That's, excuse me, Bitcoin is 352 out of 361, right? Look at these ones that hardly trade anything. It does you no good, makes no sense for you to own the trader if you're trading in coins that are not highly volatile. That's why this is the $1 billion report.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Now,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah. By the way, I'm sorry. Let me add this. This is the August report. It comes out every month, but it normally comes out on the 5th of the month because it starts compiling right after the month closes. So go into the Crypto Casey link in a couple of days, and you'll see the new report. And you'll see you can compare it to the old report, and you can see how dynamic it is. So go ahead, Attila.
Okay. I could talk now?
Momentarily.
Okay. So Jeff T, as in Tango, is asking on the chat, does the software keep your funds on the exchange? If so, do I give up security? The trading license or software has absolutely nothing to do with your funds. It doesn't touch your funds. You control your funds, Jeff, on your own Coinbase or Kraken account. Now, to take it a step further, the second part of his question is, we were advised to get a wallet and keep it offline. If so, how does the software work if we do this? It only works with centralized exchanges, namely Coinbase and Kraken. Now, I will tell you, they're both American companies. Coinbase is a public company. Kraken will be soon. There's major institutions that custody their crypto at Coinbase. Coinbase is not going anywhere. Now, what you can do is whatever coins you have on Coinbase that are not going to be traded in the trader, you can put those into your cold wallet without a doubt. But if you want to use the trader, you could feel confident Coinbase and Kraken will do a great job for you. And the reason Ed Barsano did that is because he knows that these are two solid American companies that are not going anywhere. Okay, so I feel very safe trading my funds on Coinbase with the trader. Okay, so the last part of his question, why not use Jupiter or Uphold? Because or Coinbase to reduce fees. Why not use Jupiter versus Uphold or Coinbase to reduce fees?
We didn't. Can I address something with that we didn't talk about?
You can, and then after you address it, I'm going to say one last thing.
Yeah, do you mind if I talk?
I don't mind talking while you're interrupting. No problem.
Don't take us too seriously, but we are serious about serving you. So we didn't talk about this. So the profits, the platform builds in fees. So people go, well, wait a minute, if it's going after 3% fees and it only takes 3%, then is that plus or minus? What does it do? If it's got 0.5% in fees, does that mean I only net 2.5%? The answer is no. Here's the really cool thing. When it buys a position, it sets a profit margin. It already knows what the fees are going to be because it's directly connected to the API that Coinbase and Kraken wrote. Mr. Barsano didn't write the APIs. He got the approval, asked them to create them. They have the fees built in. So when it takes a 3% profit, it's actually taking more than a 3% profit to cover the fees. However, here's some invisible, really great news. When the trader connects via API, and I'm going to use the Coinbase example, it trades on Coinbase Advanced. Coinbase Advanced has much lower fees than regular Coinbase for the average trader. That's awesome because when it sets the profit goal, it sets the retail fee level. So it's looking for, I'm just going to say 3.5% to net you 3%. But it's trading at a Coinbase Advanced level, which is even less fees. So it's making you more than the 3% or the profit margin after calculating the fees. Here's even better news, and this is a caveat. This is a choice that I made because my traders, and I'll dare say that yes, double dipping, Anthony. Attila does the same thing. I subscribe to Coinbase One. Coinbase One, not only if I have USDC sitting in waiting to be deployed by the trader, it's making around 4.5%. While I mean, that's not a lot, but it's something. It's more than your savings account in your bank paying 0.001%, right? At the same time, it gives you the first $10,000 in trades. It gives you those fees back. So you make it as violently as the trading platform trades, you're making money on the deal. So Anthony, it's triple dipping because the software in its trade calculates the retail fee, covers that, even though you're trading at a advanced lesser fee. And if you're a Coinbase One paying $29.95 a month, if you're a subscriber, then it gives you all of those fees back. So over the long term, that turns out to be a lot of money.
No, hold on, Edward. I think if I'm understanding what you're saying, I have to correct you, I believe, because when you have Coinbase One, you do get a rebate back on about 25% of the fees. But the fees are, yeah, that's accurate. Trust me
Every
on that.
trade, I can show you every single trade. It comes up and it says you save this much in fees, and it literally, if it charged $50 in fees, it gives me the $50 back. So I may be getting a better deal than you.
But wait a minute now. That's different. That's when you're buying regular crypto. That's true. When you're buying regular crypto, but we're talking about the trading platform.
I see the differentiation you're making.
Yeah, on the trading platform, your fees are already lower because the trader automatically trades in Coinbase Advanced, and then Coinbase One comes in and gives you a further 25% rebate back on trading fees. But
Got it.
when
Got it.
you, let's say you just buy USDC or Ondo, or you're buying XRP, you don't pay anything in fees.
Got
Yeah.
it. Good
Now,
clarification.
let me add one more thing to the big. Remember earlier I said I'm not a technical guy. I'm a big picture guy. Whenever somebody brings up the word fees, I have to say this. Listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen. We are engaged in a space where we are so early, all of us have an opportunity to literally become zillionaires. Based on how you are setting yourself up. I know how I'm set up. I know how Edward's set up. Some of you, I know how you're set up. Many of you, I don't know personally. Some of you, I do. Never, ever sweat the fees in this space. Yes, you want to minimize them, and here they are minimized. But don't sweat the fees because you have an opportunity to become richer than you've ever been in your life. It's almost like discovering a gold mine on the top of a mountain that's 1,000 feet high, and you don't want to climb up the mountain because you might get your sneakers dirty. So you don't want the gold. It's silly. Don't sweat the fees. When I first started in crypto 5 years ago, there were times I paid for $250 worth of crypto. My fee was $50. You know why I paid it? Because I knew I went to hell and back to buy that crypto. It was so difficult to buy, but I knew that I was so early on buying it before it hit any of the major exchanges. And that's how you want to buy crypto. So I was just fine with it. And guess what? A lot of those buys paid off in silver dollars, so to speak. Okay, so don't sweat the fees. I understand your trepidation with the fees, but this is a whole new ball game here.
Yeah, if you really care about it when you're making millions, well, whether you're making millions or billions or thousands or tens of thousands, the fees are deductible as investment expense.
That's another thing. Yeah, that's a
Right.
good point.
So those are all really good points. So we've reached the end of our questions, and actually, Attila, if you want, I think I did reference it earlier, so I don't want to short anybody in bringing the example up.
Yeah, let's end
What
it
the
with
potentials are.
that brief
Okay.
example.
Okay. Yep. Let me find that and share my screen. So what I'm going to give you is based on very early premise of people wanting to know how much money do I have to put in for it to make sense, I gave you one example. If you invested enough to make $20 a day, that's 21,900 return on a $3,400 investment over the 3-year period. So, all right, I believe I found what I wanted to. So give me a moment. So this is a linear example. Please don't take it as a prediction. Just take it for what it is and do your own math. Okay. So, all right. So what if, and this is based on what the trader's done over a 4-year period, right? April of this year was 4 years, right? 2021, right? So
Are you basing this mainly on Ed Barsano's returns?
I am. This is all factual returns based on what actually happened,
Good.
not a what if. So thank you
Good.
for that clarification. So if you started with $5,000 and you went through the first year cycle, right, or first 3-year cycle, right? What I did here was the first year 5,000, end of the first year's 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 at the end of the 3-year cycle. If it repeats what it's done for Mr. Barsano, that's $40,000. The example I give is it takes your $5,000 initial investment out, takes out the cost of the software, discounted cost of the software. I say anything after the equal sign based on putting your money, giving your money a job and make sure that it's fully employed. If you didn't do this with $5,000 and you didn't own the trader, lost opportunity cost is $31,500. And let's say at the end of the 3 years, you're like, nope, I'm tired of making money, and you don't renew it. So for a second that you do renew it, right? You're now into the 6-year cycle. At the end of the 6 years, the second 3-year cycle, at that projected return is 320,000 minus your original 5,000 minus double the license fee, because you're probably going to pay it if you've 4 extra money over that 3-year period, gives you lost opportunity of 308,000. That's a pretty good one. So now if you backed up the camera a little bit and said, okay, I'm going to have a 10-year strategy. And why would you, if it's making that kind of money? If it only made 30% or 50%, you're still way in the money. But let's continue with this example. 9 years, at the end of the 9-year cycle, you're at on $5,000, 2.56 million, minus your 5,000, minus your 10,497, because you would have had to buy the third or the second renewal, is 2.544 million. Let's say that you believe that's unbelievable. And I'm just saying, in a 90% down market over a 4, not even 4.5-year period, he's 5x'd his money. By the way, Anthony wanted me to mention Coinbase will issue a debit card for you that as you make profits and save profits, you can stick your debit card in and it takes it right out of your USDC profits. As Ed says, it's the card that keeps on giving. He can't spend the money fast enough. What a great position to be in. But let's say that this example was way too far-fetched, even though it's facts. Cut it in half. There's 50% per year. Look at the lost. I won't take you through the math. Look at the lost opportunity. If I could find 8,000, 44,000, 176,000 starting on a $5,000 investment in my sleep, not worrying about it, is that a good sort of extra retirement fund, or maybe even pay like I'm now paying for my kids' college? And 3 kids, I still have one that's 10 years old, so I got to make money fast to be able to pay their tuition. I say that tongue in cheek. I love my kids, and I would do anything to keep them successful. As a matter of fact, they each will soon have a fully funded trader that makes money while they sleep far after I'm gone. So with that, very interesting example. Do your own math, and if you're like most of the folks that own the trader and keep dropping, see this as a opportunity to grow your money while you're working. If you're working towards your not working, this is a great place to park your money versus anything else. And we've talked about risk. It mitigates the risk. It does not sell at a loss. It doesn't risk, as you heard Patrick say, It's very conservative when the market's going down and very aggressive when the market's going up. Position yourself for the market that's about to go up. It can only go up, and violently. So with that, Mr.
Yep.
C.
Yep. Great example. And like Edward said, cut the numbers in half and then cut them in half again. They're still stellar. So, but they're based on actual results that Mr. Barsano got on his traders. It's crazy. Anyway, folks, we really, really appreciate you being with us. I know this was almost 2 hours. Usually we go 3 when Mr. Barsano's here, so we did pretty good to keep up the tradition. Right, Anthony? Don't be disappointed we didn't go 3 hours, Anthony. But anyway, Patrick, thank you so much for your testimonial and all of you that participated in the comments. We appreciate every one of you. We are here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. The link to get the $1,000 discount on Crypto Casey's link is in the what do you call it? It's in the
chat. I just posted it.
And again, the 2 emails, one of them is support@rctmarketingsystems.com. That's for more general questions, or if you need a little bit of a assist to go live with a Zoom, just send us an email. Frankly, I usually answer those personally, so they come to me. Sometimes Edward does, but usually that's my space. But if it's a question that's very, very technical in nature, I would suggest support@gobabytrade.com. And like I always end it, we could only work so hard. As adults, we work for a living. We could only put so much elbow grease into our profession. At some point, you have to multiply your money. I say it like this: your money's unemployed. It's just not earning enough in TradFi. What's TradFi? Traditional finance. Okay, it's a new world. The digital money revolution is changing everything as we speak. So we have a responsibility, I feel, to ourselves and our family to multiply our money and give our money a job. And there's no better way to do that, in my estimation, than using this autonomous robotic trader so you can make money while you sleep. It just rocks. It works. Every single person that owns the trader and has used it for more than a month or 2 is thrilled with it. Okay. Now, over the last 25 years, sure, there's probably been some people that say, I don't get it. I'm not patient enough to wait for this to be a lifetime trader for me, and they give up. I don't know why you would do that, but by and large, everybody's thrilled to death with this thing. So join us on this journey. Go forward and multiply your money until we see you next week. If you want to join us again, any questions, please contact us. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the kind messages to Ed Barsano. We'll pass them on. And with that, we'll see you next week or whenever.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Attila, I appreciate everything you are and do. I wouldn't be here except for you. And I didn't mean that to rhyme, but that was kind of cool. So, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Great job, Edward. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.